Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Actually, oh my gosh, it's been a week off. We got started. It was your week one. You guys rocked it out in week one. We had a lot of people actually join us late in week one because we had the extra week. They were allowing people to make it to this semester, so that's really kind of awesome. And we've been trying to get everybody caught up and get to know each other. So we are now officially in our second week of class, even though you guys have been here for a while. If you haven't yet, I really would like you to encourage you to put your picture up on FSO. Remember, there are some little profile picture policies that we have to go by. This is different than your Connect site. But the biggest thing that usually prevents people from getting their picture up is this actually the size of the picture that you're trying to put up. So if you're taking your picture with your phone and you can't get it to be smaller, just send it to me in a message. I'll shrink it down for you, send it back, and then you guys can put it up because you really want to put your picture up because we're really trying to get to know you and your names. And as you guys move forward, it'd be kind of cool. You might not remember everybody's name that you were in your class with or in go-tos with, but you might remember their picture. So if you need help with that, you guys, please let me know. So if you're joining us tonight, we're glad that you're here. We've got quite a few people, and the people are still popping in the room. I see the number of attendees is going up, so that's awesome. So if you're just joining us, welcome. And if you weren't able to join us tonight and you're watching the recording, we're sorry that you're not here, but we sure do want you to participate as well. So this is a presentation class, so it's a little bit of a combination. When people say, what do you teach at Full Sail? And I say, I teach creative presentation. And they go, what is that? And I go, well, it's a little bit of like speech communication mixed with visuals and multimedia and storytelling. And so it's kind of all combined together. So we're going to do a little bit. This is what I make everybody do in the classroom when I teach in the classroom. So I thought I'm not going to let my online students off any easier. So we're going to do a little participation. So if you guys if you have the ability to have your microphones on, I see a few are on already, so I'm going to kind of call on you guys to get us started. So what I want you to do is fill in the blank. All right, Clinton, you're going to be first. Go for it.
Why do I gotta be first?
Because you're at the top of the alphabet with the C in your microphone. Come on, you can do
Yeah.
it. You can do it.
All right. Good evening. My name is Clinton Odom. My favorite cartoon character is Static Shock. When I grow up, I want to design games because that's what I'm passionate about.
Excellent. Excellent. You did a great job. All right, Dave. Uh-oh, Dave, I saw your microphone come on and off. Dave, your turn.
Oh, no, I'm here. Am I coming through clearly?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening. My name is Dave Margin. My favorite cartoon character has to be Spider-Man, any variation of that. When I grew up, I wanted to be multiple things, but I realized that I can't obtain them, so I'm working for the second best.
Okay. And what's that?
Oh, I actually want to be a professional trophy hunter.
Oh, okay. And is your degree program here at Full Sail going to help you do that?
No, that's why I changed my program.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Well, we are getting thank you for participating. We are getting a little bit of static, so I may have to mute the microphone. So, okay, that's better. All right, Frank. Oh, I'm so glad you were able to join us here, Frank. So, can you hear? Can you talk with us tonight, Frank? I'm not sure you can. I know he can probably hear us. Frank, are you out there? He's trying. Okay. Frank, we're going to come back to you. Manuel, your turn.
Oh, well, dang. Good evening. My name is Manuel Hernandez. My favorite cartoon character is Spider-Man. When I grow up, I want to be a game designer because I've been playing games since I was young. Always had an interest in me. And there wasn't a time when I haven't been playing a game.
Okay. Hey, that's good. That's a nice detail there. That's something we want to hold on to. We might want to expand on that later in the class. All right, Marius, you're up.
Hello, can somebody hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now, Frank. We're going to cut to Frank because, Frank, we can hear you now. Marius, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Frank. Can you happen to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we want you to do is read the sentence and fill in the blanks.
Okay, good evening. My name is Frank Kinzer. My favorite cartoon character is the Black Panther.
Okay.
When I grow up, I want to be an aspiring musician slash artist and run my own record label because I want to do music and I want to set an environment to change the world.
Woo! That is
Cool.
powerful. I love it. Okay, very good. I love the confidence there. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We'll come back to, it's either Maurice or Maurice. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Are you out there?
Yeah, my name is Marius.
Maurice. Okay, beautiful.
Marius,
Go ahead.
yeah. Good evening, everybody. My name is Marius. My favorite cartoon character is Simba in Lion King movie. And when I grew up, I wanted to be a priest.
Okay.
Because I wanted to talk with people and try to tell them what is the right thing to do. So I wanted to be a priest, but I couldn't. Thank you, God, that I didn't do that, because I know that if I went to be priest, I didn't want to fall in love with a girl, and now I'm happy that I didn't do that. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, and are you in love with a girl now?
Yeah. I didn't want to miss that.
Oh, okay. All right, that's hilarious. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Michelle, you're up.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Swinderman. My favorite cartoon character is Danny Phantom, and whenever I want to, when I, so sorry. When I grew up, I wanted to be an actor. Kind of switched that to making movies.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to provide quality entertainment that I noticed that a lot of we're sort of missing now. We don't have the same quality that we used to. At least in my opinion, we don't.
Okay. Okay. No, and I'm sure that you can back that up. I'm sure if we think about it enough and brainstorm enough, we can come up with some examples and kind of show how you can be the changing factor in that. So I think that's a good start. That's a good start. All right, Sean, you're up. Sean Stella, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I was turning on my mic.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Sean Stella. My favorite cartoon character is, I honestly don't have one, but I'm going to say for this particular thing, Hades from Hercules, the Disney movie.
Okay.
When I grow up, I want to be a game designer because I want to give people the same feeling I had growing up and just another place to go.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do, not right now, but just to kind of think of and brainstorm, is I want you to think about that feeling that you mentioned. And maybe we'll be able to kind of describe that later and make people think back to that feeling. And that might be a good why. We're going to talk about your whys tonight. So that might be a good start to your whys. So good job.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's see. Everybody that has a microphone on, I believe.
Hold on.
If you want to go, Lucy, okay, you're with us. Well, your turn, Lucy.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Lucy Fonseca. I would say my favorite cartoon character would be the Rugrats. When I grow up, I want to be a CEO. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and hopefully I can help all of you with marketing. That's actually what my degree is. I know there's a lot of gamers, and I love to game too, but my passion's in marketing and customer service.
Well, great. Well, maybe you can somehow combine the two. So I'm sure there's a big need for you. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, of course. Okay, is there anybody else that didn't get a chance to go?
I'll go next.
Okay,
Kelvin.
John. I see John's name came up, so we're going to go John, and then you, Kelvin, will be.
Good evening. My name is John. My favorite cartoon character is Batman. When I grow up, I'm pretty grown now, sadly. So. I've already accomplished one of my dreams, and that was to join the military, go overseas, and come back. Now my next dream or my next passion to pursue is developing apps for mobile devices. The reason why is because I feel that the way technology is advancing, that everything nowadays is ran off of applications, that there's not very many good app developers to be able to fully use the technology to its full potential.
Right. Isn't that funny when you're trying to do something and you go, oh, there should be an app for this.
Yeah.
We're so used to that. So I definitely am going to encourage you on that one. All right, Kelvin, I don't see that your microphone's, oh, okay, you just turned it on. Your turn. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Kelvin Oche. My favorite cartoon character is Stewie of Family Guy. When I grow up, I want to be an entrepreneur because I have a lot of ideas I want to share with the world, but I feel the only way to make your dreams come true is to get out there and make it happen, do it yourself. So I think that's why I want to be an entrepreneur, because I feel, by doing it myself, I can actually bring the dream out, specifically how I want it, and share it to the world. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, and what's your degree program here?
Mobile development.
Okay, and that will help you. That will help you get that out there. So very nice.
Yes,
all right, Evangelise, I think I saw your name came up as well. Would you like to try?
Sure. Good evening. My name is actually Evan. Well, I go by Evan.
Okay, great.
My favorite cartoon, I don't have one, but character is probably Black Panther right now. When I grow up, I want to be a part of the entertainment industry as it relates to acting, filming, dancing, fashion. Mostly because I want to use those to creatively express myself and inspire others.
Okay. And what's your degree program here?
Marketing.
Marketing. So you're going to be able to market all those things. That's awesome. You're going to be a busy guy. You're going to be a really busy guy.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, that's great. Okay, so Malcolm, it looks like your hand is up. Your turn.
My name is Malcolm Fitzpatrick. My favorite cartoon character is Vegeta. When I graduate, I want to become the greatest audio engineer there is. I want to become the greatest audio engineer there is because I have an artist that I work with now, and I see the struggle and the pain that we go through nowadays just to even get any attention, and especially on the female side of things. They want one way for our women nowadays to be marketed, which is not right.
Right. And so what's your degree program here?
Audio production.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like you might also could make some friends in marketing and internet marketing and app production. You could she could have her own app and all those things. There's just so many possibilities if you kind of let your mind wander on that one. So really, really cool opportunities coming for you since you already kind of have your foot on the door. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you, Malcolm. If you could say that cartoon character for me again one more time.
Vegeta.
Now, who is that? That's a new one on me.
That's a character from the anime of Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super.
Okay,
not Dragon Ball.
Super Saiyan.
I love doing this because you guys introduced me. I've gotten so many more new cartoons that are I like the Adult Swim ones, to tell you the truth, but I get I can't watch Lion King too much; it makes me cry. But I do like the Adult Swim ones. So
if you don't cry watching the Lion King, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Well, I would always
Everybody
like
cries the Lion King.
I'm always confusing the bad guys. What was the bad tiger's name? That wasn't
Scar.
Okay. I'll have to think, is that when he said Simba, I said, is that the good little one or is that the evil one? So, anyway, all right. Well, thank you guys. Has anybody else not had the opportunity to go? Oh, Cheyenne, your hand's up. You want to try?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Cheyenne. My favorite cartoon character is Jacksepticeye. I don't think he's real. I think he's a cartoon. I grew up, I want to be Ruby Rose because she's just gorgeous.
And that's your reason. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. All right. Anybody else hasn't got a chance to go? All right, so we do have some people participating in the chat box. So I want to make sure get this on the recording. Anthony is here, but he goes by AJ. Favorite cartoon character is, I'm thinking that's Yak Yak. It's not Jack Jack. I don't know. I don't watch The Incredibles a lot, so.
Yeah, it's Jack Jack.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate that. And then let's see. Andre is the character is the Hulk. He's grown, but I'm assuming that he's not grown up at heart. He's a kid at heart and wants to film everything: movies, video, podcasts, concerts, nature. So he's taking digital cinematography. So Andre probably is the one that's got the drone flying over your house right now, checking us out. Let's see. Cynthia is here, and Rick from Rick and Morty. I do know that one. I like that one a lot. So, and wants to be a music producer because music's a huge part of her life and wants to bring joy to people through music. So that is a very admirable thing to do. And one of the things that we're going to be doing this week is we're going to really kind of be examining our why. You know, we've made it here. You guys have fought hard to get here. And so it's kind of time to reflect on why you're actually here and see if we can share that with others. So before we kind of get started into the week 2 materials, I did want to make sure that everyone is checking their feedback. Everything from week 1, it has been scored and you have been provided feedback. So even if you have a 100 on it, it's very important that you go and find that feedback, because sometimes I'll warn you, sometimes it's giving you ideas or new resources or things like that. So just make sure that you don't have to reply that you saw it or anything. Just make sure that you go and find it. It's important. So what are we doing? Kind of want to kind of just give an overview of the class again. I may have mentioned this last week, but we've got 4 weeks of content to get through. So now we're in our 2nd week, and it kind of all falls together. It's all planned together. The first week, we kind of tried to establish where we are, you know, our baseline of where we are in our presentation, how we feel about it, those kind of things. And then we did that first exercise to learn from others. And so the primary reason for doing those TED Talk things weren't just to go and be, you know, inspired by what they were talking about, but to be inspired by how they were talking about it. And so I hope you'll kind of keep some of those things in mind when you're going to be planning a presentation, because we're all going to be recording presentations in here this month. So think about how they started them. Did they tell a little story? Did they do a demonstration? What did they do to get the attention really quickly? And so these are the things that you want to kind of plan ahead, so you'll be able to craft the story the way you want to. And that's something that Nancy Duarte says a lot in Resonate. So we want to make sure that we're identifying our audience. The closer we can get targeted to them, the better we can craft our message, the more special we can make them feel. And we also want to think about, you know, what would we communicate? How would we communicate? What's the best way that we could get our ideas to them? And, you know, what tools that we want to use? Is it something that you want to demonstrate something that's on the screen? Do you think that maybe you need to be on the screen? Do you need a combination? Do you need, you know, what do you think that they would appreciate to connect with you? So this week is all about the planning. We're not moving into production. The only thing that we're going to be doing today in any kind of recording in this week is recording your voice, because I want to make sure you guys have microphones that work. I want you to start practicing with your vocals. And so the actual big project in this class, we're only in the planning stage for it. So we wanted to make sure that if you haven't had a chance yet, go and look at the block 2 area. Everything in here is due this coming Sunday before midnight Eastern Standard Time. So, of course, we're doing the first one right now, of course, the 2.1. I did ask you guys to watch the Simon Sinek Golden Circle video. If you did not get a chance to do that, I still encourage you to do so, because it's going to really help you align your content with your plan that you're making. And I'll talk a little bit about that more. And I want to hear some of your thoughts on this video as well, if you had the opportunity to watch it as well. So, but again, if you guys are watching the recording and you haven't seen this yet, make sure that you watch this video. The learning activities, these are a little bit different this week. We're actually going to switch you into the next book, the Slidology book, And if you guys want the PDF version of it that you can read when you're offline, so you don't have to be, using your Wi-Fi or your data, just send me a message and I'll send you a link where you can go download it from. And then we just have the one chapter in Resonate. If you guys haven't read chapter 9 yet, you want to pick that. But this one is a little bit different. Last week, all you had to do was just click the button that said, I've completed this activity. And this time we want you to actually write a little comment in there that kind of lets me know that you have done your reading. So just discuss at least one new piece of information from one of those chapters. And I'd like you to think, kind of, if you can, kind of think, well, how could I use this moving forward in my presentation? So that's what you need to do, is just write one post. That's all you have to do for this one, but it is a little bit different. Okay, so those are your learning activities. I'm going to make sure you do that. Okay, so 2.3, this is the project. This is the first time we're going to be hearing some of your voices. So if you don't have a microphone, this is something that we're going to need to figure out this week. If you have a phone that you can record yourself on, if you can borrow somebody that's a gamer that has a headset, get some headphones for your phone that have the microphone included. But some way we need to make sure that we can hear you guys. So this is another discussion board. The way that it works is similar to last week, where you're going to be making 3 posts in all. Your first post, though, this time isn't due until Thursday evening. I'm giving you guys a couple extra days because it does take a little bit to get over the technical part for some people. So I want you to have your project posted, or a link to it, by Thursday, and then your reply post will be due by Sunday. So what are we talking about this audio visual project? Well, first, my suggestion would be is to make sure that you watch the 2 videos that are on the activity page, because the purpose of this assignment is for you to practice your vocal toolbox and to practice the hail method, where you're kind of showing your honesty from what you're saying. You're being authentic and you're showing your love for something. You're going to be picking that gives you an emotional response. That doesn't necessarily mean sad. I really hope it doesn't mean sad. I hope it's more emotional, inspirational to you. So what we want to do is we want to find something that we can talk about, and we're going to talk between 2 and 3 minutes, and we're going to have you guys answer some questions about it. And remember, the purpose is to show us that you can use that vocal toolbox. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure that you go do that. It talks about your tone, your pacing, the volume, and all of these things that you can almost choreograph your voice to show emotion, or to show to keep your audience interested in you. So that's what we're going to be learning about this week. So what do we do? How are we going to do this, right? So you want to make sure that you find the instructions. It's really important. They're at the bottom, and you're going to see them like in these orange letters with the little Acrobat icon next to them. Make sure that you find those instruction files. And then once you get your project done, you can either post it right in here on this page, or put a link to it if you've posted it on YouTube. A lot of students will post it on YouTube. And then once you do that, go to this discussion. That's how you get to that discussion board. But I know you guys have all done that the first week. So it is a 2-part assignment, so let's take a look at the instruction file. Now, the instruction file, you want to look at the left side and the right side separately. So we're going to look at the left side first. So this is part 1 of the 2-part assignment. So what we want you to do is find something that you can answer these 4 questions about, but you want to kind of go ahead and plan out what you're going to say. I mean, you can freestyle it a bit, but you want to make sure that you're answering these 4 questions, and you're limiting it to no more than 3 minutes. Some people will get really excited and just talk and talk and talk. I think my record is probably a 12-minute video about it. So you want to make sure that we pay attention to technical details. That's very important in this industry as well. Now, it looks like, John, your hand may be up. Do you have a question, John?
Yeah, I was curious, does it have to be in a particular order when we do our assignment?
The
As
question,
far as the questions, like
no,
answering the questions,
they
or
do not
no?
have, they don't have to be in a particular order. Just make sure that you answer all 4 of them.
Okay.
And you don't have to spend the same amount of time. I mean, the technical requirements, I want it between 2 and 3 minutes. So it's up to you. You might spend just maybe 15 seconds on the first question, and you might want to spend a full minute on the second question or the third. So it doesn't have to be like equally divided either.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So remember, just because it says emotional, it doesn't have to mean sad. Okay. I don't want, you can if you want, but it's just something that, either made you happy or inspired you to do something or, just something that had an emotional response. Because when we talk about things that we've had emotional experiences with, then it's easier to get our voices to reflect that than to just kind of try to make something up. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. And hey, it can be a video, it can be a movie, it can be a game, it can be anything you want. Okay, so if you're concerned about picking something, you're like, well, I don't know if this will work. Ask yourself, can you answer these 4 questions, and can you show us the emotion in your voice? That's what we're practicing. Okay. So that's part 1, and we need to have that done. We also, if you haven't been to the actual discussion board yet, going to this assignment, and I posted I did it because I figure, if I'm asking you guys to do this, I got to do mine too. And it's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I did my best, and that's all I'm expecting from you guys. So I posted mine up there, and then I posted, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other teachers that did it, and maybe a couple students. So I've got maybe I think 4 or 5 different ones up there, and you can do them any way you want to. There is not a prescribed way to do it with graphics. You can be on screen. It could just be your voice. Graphics are not required, but it is a great opportunity for you to practice molding the two together, merging those 2 together, because next week you are going to have to merge them. So this is a great time to practice doing that together. If you haven't tried Adobe Spark yet, this might be something fun to do that way. If you haven't tried, now PowerPoint is a little difficult because getting your audio and visuals, you're actually going to have to upload the whole PowerPoint file instead of like a movie file. If you upload a movie file and it's too big to upload, consider posting it on YouTube, and then you just take the YouTube link and then post it on the board. Adobe Spark is free to use. You can download the app on your phone, or you can use it on the website if you're on a computer, and there is no cost for using Spark. There's a lot more out there as well. There's WeVideo, eMaze. There's just a ton. If you just Google free online presentation software, you're going to see a whole bunch of them out there. Okay, so find something that you like to do. All right, so just curious, has anybody thought about what they're going to be using yet? So I see some microphones out there. Michelle or Sean, have you thought about what you're going to use?
I believe I'm going to just do just a video.
Okay.
Like a video of me with
so maybe
audio.
me on screen. That's awesome. What about you, Michelle? Have you thought about it yet?
I'm trying to come up with something because I'm not entirely sure if I have the capability on my computer.
Yes.
Or not.
Okay.
But it's something I'll have to play around with.
Okay.
I'll probably just do a video though.
Okay.
If I can.
And that's fine for sure. And then also just remember, on your computer, if you can access the internet, you're probably able to use some of these online softwares like Spark or WeVideo or eMaze and stuff, because you're actually doing it on their website and not on your computer. So maybe that'll help.
Right.
Okay. Maurice, I believe that's how you said it. Maurice, what are you going to do?
Marius. Yes, I think I already posted my video. I use a video.
Well,
Yeah, but now that I had more explanation about that, I'm thinking now if I did exactly what you asked us to do.
Okay.
So I'm still. I already posted it like 30 minutes before this meeting.
Well, you know that you guys can edit your posts on the discussion board. You can go back and edit your posts until the activity closes. So if you decide you want to go take that down, you can.
Yes. And I want to make sure. The thing is, I didn't put it on YouTube. I wanted to make sure that everybody can read it. It's a MOV.
A movie file.
Yes, but I want to make sure that everybody can read it. If not, I can put it on YouTube.
To tell you the truth, my suggestion would be to put it on YouTube, because you got to think about, a lot of people are using this on their phones or on devices, and they won't be able to, if they can't watch it in the browser, it's going to, like on my computer, it makes me download it to watch it. So you might be limiting who can see it if you do it that way.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
No
thank
problem.
you.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. And you can just go back and post that. All right. No problem, Manuel. I did turn your mic back on. So let's see. Can you hear me? Okay. No, you turned yours off. That's great. Okay. No problem. All right. So Clinton, have you decided, or have you done yours yet? What are you going to do yours?
Well, I had a few questions about it, but you kind of already answered them, so I actually know what I'm going to do it about now.
Okay, awesome. How are you going to do it? Though not necessarily what are you going to do about it. Well, how are you going to record it? What are you going to use?
That's a secret.
Okay. Woo, I like it.
He uses classified information.
No problem. Okay, Charles, what are you going to use?
I'm not sure yet, actually.
Okay. No worries. That's why, and luckily it's not due until, just make sure, guys, that you have it posted before you go to bed on Thursday, because as long as everybody's is posted by the time I'm drinking my first cup of coffee on Friday morning, I won't give you a late fee. But if you don't get it up there, you're going to get some points off. But it's still very important to do it. So just make sure you do that. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I know we've still got a lot to go through, so I just want to kind of remind you how this works. The project, either a link to it, or if you can't figure out how to get it on YouTube or somewhere online. Now, remember, if you do it in Adobe Spark, you can just give us the link to Adobe Spark, and we should be able to go see it there too, or some of the other softwares. So don't think that you have to create it online, download it, and then re-upload it. If they'll allow you to share it, then you should be able to just give us the link. So that is due by the time you guys go to bed on Thursday. But then by Sunday, you want to make sure that you come. You're going to watch at least 2 of your classmates post. And please share the love. You know, I know some people may not get theirs up until Thursday night, but you know, even if you want to get your homework done, I get it. But let's make sure everybody gets some feedback. So if somebody's already got 8 people replying to them, and there's somebody else that doesn't, please kind of try to move on to that person. But when you're making your reply post, just kind of how last week, remember I asked you to use that RISE model. This week, I want you have to use these questions, because the point of the assignment is to not only be able to practice vocal rules, but to be able to recognize them in somebody else. And when you can do that, that also helps you learn. So you guys want to make sure that you're explaining how the other person's project use those communication tools effectively. And then I also want you to describe the reaction that you had. Remember how when we were talking about in first week, and I said, be very detailed and kind of try to describe your emotions, you know, like if you're going to throw up or whatever, don't say that, of course, be nice to each other, but, you know, describe the reaction that you had, and details on why you think you had that reaction. So kind of dig deep and get your creative writer, you know, spirit going. And I will just kind of give you guys, an example of what would be satisfactory and unsatisfactory answers. So the first one, this is one that I would say probably did not really spend a lot of time on it and didn't really address the questions. If you look, this is an actual response that someone wrote to one of my students named Jennifer. And I'll give it to you. They use the word hail, which is part of the class subject, in their response, but I don't really see how much further it explained how Jennifer used it. It didn't really talk about Jennifer's performance at all. It just said, good job. It also really didn't kind of give us a reaction. Maybe it was, you know, hey, it made me go and watch the trailer after the video, and it does look like a good game. But you know, that's a little bit better. It kind of seemed to do the reaction a little bit, but this is one that I was just really impressed with. So if you look at this one that was written to Jeremy, First of all, they talk about the vocal toolbox that's going on. They're talking about the pace. They were talking about not going too slow. I could tell you enjoyed it, right? And then the reaction that this student had, hey, it got me excited to watch it because you were talking so enthusiastically, and I'm so excited to watch it because you did this, and you kind of left me hanging, and I had to go see what it was all about, and I love the way that you did this. And so it's really kind of complimenting the speaker because of the reaction that you had. So just make sure that you're really kind of, when you see the words explain or provide details, that means do that, right? So that's what I'm looking for. So you guys just make sure you do that. You want to make sure that you are, because it's right there in the rubric file. So make sure you include your why you felt about your classmates' projects and identify the specifics that they had, so you guys can fall into that exemplary column. All right. So before I go on, do we have any questions about this project? Because we're going to move on and do the next one. But is there any questions on this one? Manuel, looks like your hand went up.
Yeah, I have a question. For the, if I was to choose the audio part, to do audio for the project, can I do I'm sorry, I'm not very good at speaking. For example, video background, if I chose the game would be playing in the background while I speak overhead, have some music in the background to keep audience with it. Will that work?
You can do that. I want to warn you, if you have music in the background, make sure it's not louder than you are, because the focus should be on your voice. But I'm okay with adding a track below it. And then you just need to be careful if you're going to be using footage. You may have issues of copyright with YouTube trying to get it up there. You may have to just use that as a file on its own. Yes. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. I don't see any more hands up, and I don't see. I think the hopefully the echo is fixed now. Charles, is it better?
I don't get any echo here.
Okay. I think
my headphone drivers are sensitive, so it could just be that it's picking up someone's mic, picking up you talking.
Right.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was happening with me too.
Yeah, I think it was actually when Manuel comes on, but now that he's turned it off, I think it's done. Okay. Lucy, what's your question? Lucy? Okay, so hang on. I'm just going to mute everybody for just a second. So Lucy's question is, if I use a video from YouTube, you said something about copyright. Okay, so YouTube, if you guys have ever tried to upload something that has like a certain amount length of material in it, it won't get past YouTube's filters. Like they have a copyright predictor. I don't even know what to call it, but it will say, "Hey, you don't own this material, and so we can't upload it to YouTube." But because you're a student, you can, if you create that movie, you can upload it to our server here because it's not out in the public. It's just in this learning environment, and it's under fair use in a learning environment. So if you are using clips, then you may have to just upload it here. If YouTube, you can try it. YouTube might allow you to do it. Or if you go to the discussion board, you can kind of see how I did it. Like I used some audio from it, and then I actually just I shared a link to where they could go see it. They could go see the clips that I was talking about if you wanted to see it. All right, so I'm going to unmute everybody now. Okay, so everybody is unmuted. Okay. Y'all are knocking tables over in there. You're like, turn my mics back on.
I shall not be silenced.
I know, right? It goes to my head sometimes. So anyway, all right. So we'll keep going, and if you guys have any more questions at the end, I'll answer those. But I do want to go ahead and get on to the next one because it is so important. This week is so important, and so many students just kind of blow it off, and they don't really they don't brainstorm, they don't really take the time, and then they really have a lot of work to do next week. So what we're doing is we are we want to make sure that we're planning so we don't fail. So where do you guys think that, not only in presentations, but what else in life, just life or activities, what do you think would be somewhere you could fail really bad if you didn't plan? If you didn't plan well. Any ideas? Any good?
Life in general.
Life in general. Let's give some specifics. Let's see how creative we can get.
Finances.
Finances. Okay. If you don't plan, you might fail with your finances, go bankrupt. What else?
Prepare for interviews.
Oop. Okay, hold on. Evangelist, you go first. Charles, and you come next to you. Evangelist, what'd you say?
Preparing for interviews.
For interviews. Okay. So if you don't prep yourself, you might not get the outcome that you want. All right, Charles, what do you think?
Going places. Don't plan where you're going, you'll get lost and wind up being lost somewhere where you don't know where you're at.
There you go. Okay. Anthony says mental sanity. You need to plan for mental sanity. I think especially if you're trying to have a family and go to work and go to school, I think it's very, very important to use a little time management with Cynthia. So I'll put those two together. Okay. Well, my best one I've ever gotten was jumping out of an airplane with a parachute, like packing your parachute right. So anyway, so it's yeah. So it's very important to plan, and especially if you guys are trying to, if it's about you, if this is about your career, and that's kind of what we're doing is we're trying to get you guys to think about, what could be when you graduate. What could be, and if we can prepare for it now, it'll help us, kind of to plot that plan out, plot our journey out, and make sure that we follow it so we get to where we really want to be. So now I want to kind of tell you guys why I have you watch this video. I'm going to show you how this is going to tie in with the plan activity. So just give me, not on the microphones this time, just to kind of get an idea. Can you just say yes or no in the chat box if you watch this video? It's okay if you didn't. I promise you. I'm just going to suggest that you guys go and do that. But it looks like we have enough people that have watched it that will be able to have a little bit of a conversation. So I always just want to try that. So what I'd like to know is what stood out from this video for you? What was one thing? Now, don't tell me the whole thing because I want multiple people to participate on this. But what was one thing that stood out from you? If you guys will raise your hands if you have the microphone. And Frank, your hand is raised. And then John, you'll go next. So Frank, what was one thing? Just tell us one thing that stood out.
One thing that stood out to me was how he broke down how some companies don't use the scheme that resonates with the brain that much versus how Apple does, like the why, what, and when, and then the when, what, and why, how they go backwards and don't grab the people to buy. That's what stood out to me because that was very magnificent how he said if you go backwards with it, you would be able to draw in the buyer more better by telling them about the product in a mesmerizing way versus just asking them to straight up and buy the product first, leaving them in an undecided state.
Right. And so he gave an example. He used the company Apple to demonstrate his point, and it really kind of made it clear for the audience, made it resonate. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So John, I think your hand was up next. What did you remember about it?
Yeah, no, Frank already said what I was going to say.
Oh, he took it. Come on now. He talked about a lot of things. What else do you remember from it?
Well, I only watched half. I watched half.
Okay. No worries. Well, I want you to go back and watch the rest of it. Okay, Michelle, your hand's up. Can you share something else with us?
Well, from my perspective, it was hitting those emotional points, getting past the logic center of your brain, of your audience's mind, and hitting the emotional inner part of the mind that doesn't exactly have a voice, but registers with your decision making. So it registers with the gut instinct.
Right. And that's where it comes in, I believe, with the culture, how they're creating a culture that you want to be a part of, that you don't even really know why, but it's that, like you said, that part of the brain that just wants to, be the first in line, wants to get the first iPhone, wants to wants to be part of the movement, kind of thing.
You want what you have, what you're wanting to communicate with everyone. You want to have that be what they believe too.
Exactly. So that's a really great point, where what you believe and what they believe align, and that's a comfortable place, a memorable place, a place of trusting place. And you want your audience to trust you. So that's excellent. That's a really cool answer. Thank you very much, Michelle. And Sean, I think your answer was up. Your hand was up as well?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Would you like to share something else?
What stood out to me, it wasn't just about like business selling, like just selling products and stuff. It was also with like speakers, such as Martin Luther King was one that was spoken as he kind of practically sold his idea rather than actually a product, and got people behind his idea, which honestly it was very inspiring. And it also makes you look at things differently, especially with products that it was once just an idea, and it moves forward with other people still keeping that idea.
Excellent. All right, guys. So if you have not watched it, I'm going to just add this to the recording so the people at home can see it. Cynthia, said when he explained the difference between Apple and Gateway, the way that they were so different in the way they advertised their products, and the cause and effect of those differences. So absolutely, if you don't remember that part, I urge you to go back, because you're absolutely right. He also mentioned another company called TiVo that some of you may not even know who they are, but those were kind of the first company out there that would record television for you, and they really missed. Oh, Sean, I think you did a fantastic job, and they really kind of missed the mark, because they presented it in a way that people didn't trust it. So that was a really cool example for me as well. So if you think about his main slogan that comes from that is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And he used it a lot. He kind of used it as a repeatable soundbite. If you guys remember back to chapter 7 in our first week's reading, Nancy Duarte says that you should always create a star moment, something that they'll always remember. And there's 5 categories of it. And one of them is a repeatable soundbite. And so he did that very well, because he kept saying, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So if we believe that, if we take his examples and go, yes, I can see how that works, and we apply that to the way that we present our ideas, you're kind of, in his examples, he used a lot of businesses and culture for his business. But if you think about it, you guys are kind of your own business. You are promoting yourself, whether you're going to actually be creating your own business, whether you're going to try to go to work for another employer, or maybe you're going to try to create your own company, or you're going to try to get clients. You are your own idea, your own thing that you're pushing. So if you want to connect with your audience and you want to stand out over all of those different candidates for either that same job or the service provider or funds for financial investments, things like that, what are you going to do to make yourself stand out? And so that's what we're going to try to do, is practice with the theories that we're learning this month, seeing if we can apply that to what we want to do after graduation. So we're going to get to put ourselves in a time machine, and we're going to kind of try to think, okay, we're going to align our why, our how, and our what, because he says that's the golden circle. And so if we start with our why, if we can start with an interesting story, or we can ask a question, or we can do something, think back to what those TED Talk speakers did, something that got their attention, and then the audience wants to know more and they're leaning in. So what are you going to do? A lot of students will say, okay, I'm going to somehow demonstrate or tell my story of why I'm inspired to pursue this career, because the person that I'm talking to is in that same industry, or is interested in becoming that same industry. And if they can see how passionate I am about it, then they're going to see that we align, that our cultures fit. And once I get that part, then I'm going to take them to the next step. Okay, they like me, they want to know more about me. Then I'm going to hit them with a, hey, I'm qualified. I'm formally educated. I have mastered this skill and this skill and this skill. And when I worked on this project, I did this, or I worked with this. And so you're going to be using the jargon. You're going to be using the words. You're going to talk about the things that you have learned in your degree program. And then you're going to push it to the end. You're going to, okay, they love me. I'm in their same culture. They go, yep, this person's a qualified candidate for what I'm looking for. Now, what are they going to do for me? Because that's what your audience is watching for. So you're going to tell them what it is that you want to do for this audience. And that's a great way. You can find this in research. If you go out and you look at job postings for similar companies, you're going to see they're going to put it right there. Or you can go find what job descriptions are for people that do the same position that you want. What do those people do? Well, that's what you're going to talk about. So, how are we going to do this? We're going to write all of this down. We're going to brainstorm this week. We have created an instruction file that has a lot of questions in it. And I want you to just pull that out. I want you to study all the questions and I want you to just start taking notes. Okay, so what is going to go in the plan? Well, the plan, I'm going to put it up here on screen. It's going to look like a lot. If you haven't seen it before, it's going to be like, oh Lord. Okay, so like, wow, that's a lot of questions I've got to answer. So we're going to break them down into blocks, okay? And you can do this any way you want to. When I do it, I just start typing, and then I'll maybe scoot down a little bit and type some more, and I may scroll back up and type some more. You can plan this out any way that you want to, however you think. But the first thing you need to do is identify who your target audience is, and you want to be as specific as possible. So let's say that you want to be, you want to be a studio engineer. You want to work in a recording studio. You want to be an engineer. You want to produce people, the people come in. You want to mix the music, all that kind of stuff. So you want to target your audience. You want to try to pick a company, and you don't want to just say, my target audience is every music label in the country. Well, that's not very targeted, because if you think about how many different kinds there are, how many different sizes there are, how many different things that they specialize in, how can your one message, how can a 3-minute message target to that one audience if you're that broad? So you got to rein it in. Get a specific audience. Maybe you want an internship at that certain audience. Well, then that's who your target audience is. And so what we're going to try to do is try to find out what their culture is. Go to their website, see what they're all about, and then see how you can mirror that and show them that you align with that. So the first thing is to identify your target audience and tell me as much as you can find out about them. Okay, so do a little research. Then what you want to do is create another little section in your plan, and you're going to say, what is your big idea? And the big idea is really kind of like, what is the goal of this presentation? So the presentation is only 3 to 4 minutes. So you're not going to be able to solve the world's problems, right? You are going to try to get somebody's attention and get them to do something. So what is that? What are you going to be able to do in 3 to 4 minutes? Are you going to try to get their attention? Are you going to try to get a call back? Are you going to try to actually get them to hire you, to grant you the internship? Are you going to try to get them to invest in you? How big or how little are you going to have the purpose of this presentation? And what is it, after they watch it, is it very clear what you want them to do? So do you want them to call you? Do you want them to hire you? Do you want them to write a check? Do you want them, what is it that they're supposed to do? That's the call to action. So that if you can't define that in 1 or 2 sentences, then you're never going to make it happen. So what you do is you write your goal first, and then the rest of it is what you're going to do to accomplish that goal. So that brings you to the next part, your flow of your ideas. Nancy Duarte in Resonate says you need to have a structured presentation. You need to have structured ideas, a clear beginning, middle, and end. That beginning part is, you're kind of taking them. She talked about taking someone from what is to what could be. This is you, this was your passion, and look, this is where you can be at the end if this person will just believe in you or trust you or hire you or whatever it is your goal is that you're trying to get them to do. You're taking them from what is to what could be. So how do we do that, right? So remember the why, the how, and the what that we just talked about. So if you take that first part and you really focus on why are you on this path? Okay. And then how you're qualified. That's what you've kind of done your research. And then the end, that's what you can accomplish for them and the call to action that you're going to have for them. So that's what I'm looking for you guys to really start mapping out. The first part, they are hard questions, Cheyenne. The first part, you're going to have to really think about it. You're going to have to think about, if someone came here and didn't know anything about your dream or what you wanted to do, and you had a minute or so to tell them why you want to work on this. You really needed to, this is the only time you were going to get their attention. What could you tell them? Is there a story? Is there something that they would remember you by what story you tell? And then the middle part, this one's not as hard. The middle part, you just got to go do some research. So what you need to do is you need to go to the Full Sail website and look up your degree program. They have a course description for every course that you're going to take in this degree. Go in there, read it. It's going to tell you what you're going to be mastered in. This is where you're going to be. You can even kind of imagine projects that you might be doing while you're in school. You are free to embellish and talk about things that you were planning on doing anyway. But remember, you are in the future. You're acting as you have already graduated and you've already mastered these things. So you want to talk about that kind of in the past tense that you have already been educated. And then, you're going to say, hey, this is, I did this, and this shows how responsible I am, or shows how talented I am because I did this. And you might have a little explanation there. And then the what you can accomplish for them, that's research as well. Find job postings, find job descriptions. What do people do in those positions? Because if employers are looking for those people, that's what they want to know you can do for them. So to me, I think the hardest part is the first part, the story that you're going to tell. And in this plan, I want to see more than, in the beginning, I'm going to tell them about the reason that I love video games. And that's all you put. You haven't done any brainstorming. You've got to go ahead and flesh that story out because next week we're going in the actual production and script writing, and you won't have time. Frank, most people it's not in third person. Frank, for you guys that are at home, you can't see the question in the box. We have a question that says, is this in third person or first? I think if you were very creative, you could probably do it in third person. But remember, the point is to connect with your audience. And it might be hard to get a connection if it's like you're talking about somebody else. So you just want to make sure that you could still accomplish the connection. And then the last thing that you want to do is you want to identify what your star moment will be. And the star moment, I really want you to go back and look at chapter 7 and look at those 5 different types. It's something that you try to plan ahead, and it's going to be something that your audience is going to remember you, right? Is it going to be because you were standing on your head the whole time, or was it because you were juggling, or what was it? You're the cat guy, or you're this guy, or what is it that's going to stand out to you? And if you don't remember them, go back to chapter 7. You can demonstrate something. You can have a repeatable soundbite. Remember how Simon Sinek said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And think about the Terminator. What does the Terminator say? Everybody know the Terminator?
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Very
to the chopper.
See, there's lots of them, right? So you might be now you've only got, now this one is different than the project you're working on this week. You're going to be creating a presentation that has to fall between 3 and 4 minutes. So it's a little bit more. So you may be a little limited to what you can do, but the more of these things that you plan to get in there, the more audience members they're going to land with. So you may have really powerful visuals. Sometimes a visual can say 1,000 words, right? You guys have all heard that saying. So maybe you're
Picture says 1,000 words.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And then also you might use shocking statistics. A lot of people depends on what degree program you're in. That might work better in marketing, or that might work better in, something that, did you know that people did this, and you're actually pulling in data. If your audience appreciates data, then definitely try to add that in there. So, got another question in the box. Is there a sample that you have of this? I do have a YouTube page that we've all kind of, some of the instructors have sent in videos from different students. I will send you that page, and it's probably got, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 on there. But please know that everybody comes to the board, comes to this class with a different level of technology. They have a different, and some of these people now, when back in the day, I mean, this has been a few years now, but you used to get your computers at the beginning of the school year. And so a lot of people had more technology than some of you do. So don't get intimidated by what you might see here. And some of them are very simple, but it's the content that you're looking for. So I'm definitely I'll put that up when I post the recording of this tonight. I'll make a separate message that says samples, so you guys can kind of just see. But these are some of the better ones that we feel that have met the requirement of having structure and using the techniques that we asked to, and use storytelling and use star moments. So just try to, you'll be able to come up with your own. I don't want to stifle your own creativity. But you guys what I encourage you to do this week is just really, really brainstorm, right? Just kind of throw out all these, what could I tell? And you want to throw out lots of stuff. It's easier to pull your content back down than to not have enough content, if that makes sense. Because what's going to happen is this plan, if you don't have enough in that plan where I could say, oh, I see what Frank was trying to do, or I see what Joshua was trying to do, or I see what Cheyenne was trying to do, and I could probably take this plan and I could go film it. I could put an actor in there and I could film it, and then when I showed it to them, they'd go, yeah, that's what I was looking for. But if you don't have enough details in there for me to really do that, then it's not detailed enough. Because next week, we're going into production. You're actually going to have a script, and you're going to create videos. You're going to have visuals. You're going to have to be assembling those. You're going to have to make sure that you have 3 to 4 minutes of content, and it's a lot. And you don't want to be, you don't want to still be developing your ideas when you should be in production. So please don't waste this week. Really, really dig deep and write as much as you can. And just to have fun with it, right? Remember, this isn't actually going to an employer. I just want you to have fun with it. Show me that you're applying these techniques. You're using your vocal toolbox. You're practicing your star moments. You're practicing your beginning, your middle, your end. You've got a call to action. You know what a call to action is because you've been studying. So these are the kind of things that I'm looking for. You could always whittle it down later, but you really just want to try to develop as much as you can. Okay? So this is what I'm looking for, guys. This week I will be, as soon as we get out of here, I will process the video. It will go up on YouTube. I will post it both in the 2.1 activity, and it will also be in the messages area. If you find it in the messages area, I always put those jump to links so you can go back and maybe just listen to one part again. And I will also post those samples. So you guys make sure you're paying attention to those messages things, okay? So questions are coming up. The pitch to employers is audio and video. Not until next week. Right now, we're in the planning phase. You are planning a pitch, and it needs to be written. Frank, if you have problems with that, you let me know. I think you said you have that software that can help you with that. So definitely connect with me if there's a problem with that. But everybody else, it should be written so I can give you feedback on it. it would be really hard to give feedback if I'm listening to you guys talk for 15 minutes for each one of you. It'll take me a year to get your feedback. So yeah, okay. And this needs to be turned in no later than Sunday night. And details, details, details. You can never have too much details. Don't see any more questions. All right, guys, so that's going to be it. I don't see any hands. Oh, wait, one hand. Wait, I saw a hand. No, Frank, you've already asked your question. Maurice.
Marius, yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure that I understood. Is this the 2.4 assignment gonna be on? We have to write it, or we can make a video of that.
That needs to be written. The video won't come until next week.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Dave, you can talk for 16 minutes if you want, as long as you also submit a written version of that. Okay. Is the tagged assignment question with the due dates up to date? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Tagged assignment.
Yeah, it's up to date on Discord. We actually pinned the message for everyone in the Discord channel.
Okay.
It's also in the messages.
Oh, thank you guys. So I may have not changed it. I think you guys may have been talking about the audio visual project for the discussion board this week. It's not due until Thursday. I think I had the dates wrong. So it's due this Thursday. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to be up for a while. I'm working until 11. Oh, go ahead.
For our emotional storytelling for the discussion, what if we can hit all the points of the discussion, but it's like a minute and like 40 seconds? Do we absolutely have to hit it at the 2 minutes?
Well, it is a technical requirement, and therefore it does appear on the rubric file. So that's going to be your determination. Just like in the real world, if you were willing to pay like a financial penalty for not meeting the technical requirements, in this class you would be if you're willing to incur a grade point deduction. So it's up to you.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions?
No, I don't think so.
Here's a fun fact. I am from Opelika, Alabama, Miss Wilson.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Cool.
Missed it. I know you mentioned you were also from Alabama. So.
Opelika. Isn't that near Auburn?
It is.
That's what I thought. I'm a Tuscaloosa girl myself.
What?
Small world.
I would say Hoover.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. So guys, if you haven't, I'm sorry I didn't mention it earlier. If you haven't joined the Discord channel, it's really a cool thing. I actually was going to tell you guys, I heard from one of the student liaisons that they know about it, and they were like, what are you doing? Tell us about it. So it's definitely catching on, and it's creating some buzz. And I've already figured out how to make my own server, and I'm going to be I'm working on getting that organized, so when I start my next class, I'm going to invite them to come and play, and so I'm going to stick with y'all for a while, so don't close the channel down, so I can, when I get lost, I can come ask you guys how to work it. So okay, Dave, so what you can do is I'm just quickly in the Discord, excuse me, in the chat box, the student liaisons, I'll definitely tell them to maybe send you an email or something, and maybe you can connect with them because they're telling you doing work. Make sure they don't do that.
Sorry, my son keeps grabbing the mic.
No worries. Dave, what time do you get off work? What would time be better for them to call you?
What are you?
He's typing it. Oh my goodness. So who is that with us? Oh, that was private, Clinton. You got to put that out for everyone.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah, it's crazy when you don't do it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you guys will check the chat box, It's coming, and all you have to do is click on that. And Clinton and there's some other people that are admins on it, and they'll get you in there. It's really cool. So if you haven't, it's really easy to use, and they're really friendly in there.
Best server I've got on Discord so far, in my opinion.
Oh, cool!
Wow, that's actually good to know because I've actually created a lot of servers on Discord.
I invited Frank.
Most of the servers I'm on are for Minecraft shit and stuff, and it's just annoying kids. So
Cool.
I never pay attention to it.
Yeah. Well, this might be cool because it's all you guys. So, and then
Yeah.
you got it really organized for degree programs as well. So, I think that's really cool. All right, guys. So I'm going to Frank. You go ahead and copy the link, and that'll get you in there, and then you can talk to him in there, Frank. But I am going to go ahead and shut off the recording. So if you're listening to the recording, you're like, "What's the Discord thing?" Look in your messages area. There is a message to the whole class. It might be, it was towards the beginning of the class, but the link is in there. And thank you guys for coming. I'll be up for a while. If you have any questions or concerns, you guys reach out, and I'll be looking forward to seeing my ideas come to life this week. All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye.
All right, bye.